Hi guys, Jenny Marie at Raja Wellness. I just wanted to take a few minutes and make a short video to kind of explain how our custom herbal formulas work. So we get a lot of questions about what herb do I take for this or what herb do I take for that. And typically with Chinese medicine, we don't work with just a single herb. We look at formulas as a complex that will work together to resolve a pattern imbalance, and that is going to be more effective than just a single herb. So I'm going to use an example of a formula that I've recently made up for a patient. Primary symptoms are shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, pain in the chest, a dry, unproductive cough, mild fever but not too bad, no sinus involvement. This is my little bowl here with the herbs in it. And some actually low oxygen levels. She had a home pulse oximeter to read that. So we did refer her to urgent care to be seen for evaluation to rule out anything serious. They were able to determine that there was no fluid in her lungs, but she did have something that was triggering her asthma, and they gave her some additional medications and sent her home. And we did a phone consult to check up on the patient and found out that her oxygen levels were doing better, but she was still having a significant amount of discomfort in the chest, still had the cough, finding it very hard to rest, had no appetite, difficulty eating, and it's hard to recover from something if you're not able to take in nourishment to be able to give your body something to fight back with. Loki's coming over to help me here. Thanks, bud. So her formula is one of these complexes of different herbs. So we've got perilla leaf in there, and you can see it looks kind of green, it looks kind of purple. This is a nice quality, and the perilla you may have seen fresh at a really good sushi restaurant. A lot of times it'll be there as a garnish. It has applications for resolving food poisoning. It's also warming, and it helps to offset the cold nature of the sushi itself. In this case, we're using its functions for opening the chest. So it warms the middle jiao, so it helps with the digestion, but it also warms the upper jiao, which is the lungs and the heart. It has the ability to transform dampness and help make it easier to breathe. We're also using some cardamom here. And this is a nice little white cardamom hull. This will actually be crushed before it's put in the preparation. And the cardamom, again, is another warming herb that helps with easing a cough. It helps with opening up the chest, making it easier to breathe. It's also got some mild analgesic properties to help reduce pain. And then we've got some baiju here, which is Atractylotus root. And this one here is a very humble looking plant, but we use it in quite a lot of formulas related to digestion and lung function. And again, we're working to eliminate that dampness, nourish the spleen, help open up the chest and the diaphragm, make it easier to breathe. And then we have a little bit of jiegong here. Looks like just a white twiggy root. This is platycodon root. This one is a very good cough-stopping herb. It's got a long tradition of use for wide ranges of coughs, regardless of how they're or what's generating them, whether it's heat or cold or damp. And so again, we're using that to help reinforce the breathing action for this patient. And it also, interestingly, I almost forgot to mention, it's a little bit calming, so it can help offset the stress of being sick. And then we have bancha. This is Pinellia root. You can kind of see it there. Looks like a little crumpled marble or dried raisin. There it goes. I'll get it later. This is another one that's really good for helping with easing nausea, stimulating the appetite, nourishing the spleen, resolving that dampness in the body. And lastly, the bancha's in there because it has a unique property. There's an idea of plum pitchi, where you feel like there's something caught in your throat, but there's actually nothing there. It's insubstantial phlegm. So that herb helps to quell that feeling of having something stuck there in the throat when there's not actually anything there. And then the last herb we've gotten there is some gansao. This is licorice. This is Chinese licorice. So for those of you that think black licorice, anise flavored, this is completely different. It's a very sweet, mild flavor. And it's an herb that is considered very harmonizing. Another one you'll find in a lot of formulas. It moderates the actions of the other herbs. In simple words, it helps them to play better together. And if there are any potential toxic effects, like for example with the ban sha, if it's not prepared properly, if you're using raw ban sha, which we are not, there is a risk of a mild toxicity. So traditionally herbs like gansao are used to offset any potential toxicity that might be there. Now a formula like this is raw herbs, so the larger herbs would be ground with a mortar and pestle. And a couple of these herbs are what we call short cook herbs. They're only in the decoction for a short time because of the volatile oils. So half these ingredients will go in at the early part of the cooking for a longer simmer. The remaining ingredients will go in towards the end to preserve their volatile oils. And then the liquid is skimmed off, all the herbs are strained out, and then that liquid is divided into doses for your formula. Not everybody has time to cook their herbs, so we also have the option of making up formulas like this with granules. So with a granule formula, sometimes the aromatics don't quite work as well, but there are plenty of options for how to get the herbs to you, make them easy to take, and this is a great example of using Western medicine and Chinese medicine together. So we're able to look at the pharmaceutical medications that she's on, evaluate the constituents of the herbal medicines that we're using as a licensed acupuncturist with a specialty in Chinese herbalism. We do have training in drug-herb interactions and how to safely combine the two when we might not want to. There's certain medications we would never use with herbs, but there's quite a few that we can safely work with them together. So I hope this helps, and if you have any questions or want to call the office for a consultation, we can do it via telemedicine, we can do it over the phone, and if there are particular topics that you would like to hear more on, we're going to try to do some more of these videos in the near future here. So if there's something you want to learn more about, please feel free to ask the acupuncturist, and have a great day. Stay healthy out there. Wash your hands.